Hi friends, my name is host Eric. I'm the host Talking with Famous People, and I am a fellow who, where do I want to put myself? Like right there maybe. I'm a fellow who is actually in the middle of a bit of a project, but I thought maybe some stream participants could help me with it. I think it's a fun project. I'm using I'm having each of my various dolls say stuff for like a sentence. Basically, I want to record like 100 shorts like this, and then I want to upload them to the shorts channel, not to the main channel, as I'm attempting. This is an experiment of sorts, I guess you could say. So this is what I'm doing here. I'll show you the guys that I'm going to use here in the video. Right now we're going to go with corduroy here. This is corduroy. And you're not going to be able to see this stuff that I'm doing, but that's okay. You will be able to hear things that I'm having them say. I always say, a man ain't real at home from work till he's reclined in his chair. I'm just making random sentences like that, you know. I say, Eric, why are you doing that? Hi, Boba Fett. And the answer is, because it's an experiment. I'm going to put all these on the short channel. I do have a short channel. I'm going to upload like 100 of them, all basically an hour apart, and see what happens. Do I look too far away from you? How about now? Things like that. So what it is I'm going to be doing, if you have any sentences these people might say, right now maybe we'll do Tiffany, okay? You're not going to be able to see me put Tiffany on the little stage I've got made. But if you have single sentences you want me to say, this is an experiment. We're going to upload like 100 of these dolls saying random sentences. I do have this document here that I can reference. You could add things to this document if you want. I could make it anyone with link and edit for now. So if you want to add to this document possible sentences that I might read. So far I'm not really reading the fancy ones. I'm making more kind of like ordinary sentences. Or if you want to suggest one here in the chat, that's fine as well. Here's the that I'm looking at. One of my favorite statements that I have on this page here is, if ifs and buts were cocaine and sluts, logic classes would be a lot more popular. That's a pretty funny line, right? Pretty funny line. I have corduroy, save that one. You get a good line here, corduroy. That's good lines, right? You're an actor like corduroy. You want the good lines. If ifs and buts were cocaine and sluts, logic classes would be a lot more popular. Oh, corduroy falling over. So yeah, I'm living, loving. I'm just a woman. As Led Zeppelin famously said. Like, what could this girl say? If you got any sentences you think that the girls should, or any of these characters should say, tell me. What do you think the tennis girl should say? I want her a little up closer, so I'm going to put this guy up. Put this behind her so she can lean against it. You could lean against this, lady. Just lean, okay? Don't sizzle fat, sizzle lean. I will whack you upside the head with this tennis racket if you talk to me like that again. Do you hear me? That's what she looked like in the picture there. I will respond to chat stuff if people put stuff. And meanwhile, I'm playing. Okay. Come on, Tiffany. You can stand too. There. Hi, I'm Tiffany, and I'm in a sorority, but I forget what it's called, but have any of you seen my clothes? Hello, Carrot. How you doing? I've got an experiment going on, or plan, in which I plan to upload a bunch of shorts to the Shorts channel, which is different than the regular channel, obviously. Not having a body is not really so bad, especially when they let me sit on top of the jar like this. So if any of you have any sentences, statements, ideas that you think one of these various dolls that I have might say, then go ahead and put it here in the chat. I'll give it a shot. I'll stick it on a short for this grand experiment, which cannot have too many possibilities, too many shorts, right? Because the whole plan is it's an experiment on the Shorts channel, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't work if it's on the Shorts channel. I'm not going to piss anybody off or whatever. What about this lady? What should she say? I mean, but the thing is, what's super annoying right now is that probably people think I'm avoiding doing Type Police for a reason, like all the drama. That's totally not the case. I just got distracted by other things. You know. See, I told you I could climb into this jar. There you go, little lady. Hi, welcome to Costco. Bum a cigarette? So, who should say that? How about this girl? We'll have a leaky, 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 leaky. Say that. Okay. She's my favorite, really. She's a sassy little Mexican girl with a hell of a scope. Hola, welcome to Costco. Can I buy a cigarette from you? There you go. Hi, host. Anybody who wants to have a sentence said in this experiment here? Remember, we're not looking for especially great quality. I'm looking for quantity. I plan to. If I can get enough of these little things done, I'll upload literally 200 of them to the Shorts channel and make them go up every 30 minutes or something. And just see what happens, right? Yes, I'm playing with my dolls again, okay? Can I play with dolls? Is there a problem with that? This is a good one. Well, I guess I should have moved my hand before firing the mortar. And he lost his hand. Let me see. I like playing with toys. Nothing wrong with my toy playing. Okay? It's an important part of a complete breakfast. Don't be shitting on my playing with toys. Oh, that girl. You're so crazy. It's not so easy being that girl. Quack, quack. Poor duck girl. You get bullied by the other dolls. Here's my guy. Here's my guy who's going to say the intellectual stuff. This position is hurting my knees. That's a great one. Good job. Good job, Jonathan Basanti. So I'll put it like this with this one, okay? I'll put it this is starting to hurt my knees. Put her legs up to the... How long do I just stay like this? It's starting to hurt my knees. This is a rather crass one, ultimately, but that's okay. A little crassness never hurt anybody. Yeah, so just so. Like that. And like that. What is all this stuff? I didn't push this thing. No. Video. How long do I have to stay like this? My knees are starting to hurt. It's a little crass. Yeah, I'm in a lecture hall, so I definitely know what I'm talking about. And let's see. Where's my fancy guy? So I have a list of fancy statements that I could have this guy say too. I was thinking, this fancy guy, you know. I don't know, like what's this a doll of per se, but I like it. I like its fanciness because he's classy. He's got class and he's got pizzazz. Is what he's got. Two things you need in life more than anything else. Number one thing, class. Number two, pizzazz. You see, that's your problem, Barry. You got the class, sure, but where's the pizzazz? Where's the other part of that bottle? God damn it. Why do things always get lost? Why is there a constant movement towards increased losiness? Can somebody answer me that question? Alright, now for some fancy talk ones. Alright, fancy talk, here we go. Meow. Usually, enigmatic statements are just bullshit. Not this one, though. I do say no prescriptive or normative framework totalizes except as totalitarianism. God damn it, Eric. Stop being a jerk. Eric, you're being a jerk. They say truth operationalizes as the status conferred upon a statement when there is agreement between competing narrators regarding that statement. Myself is one meow. Other selves and non-selves are the other two of three meows total. By myself is one meow. With a partner, in a group, and not with us are the other three meows of four meows total. Let's probably redo that one. By myself is one meow. With a partner, in a group, and not with us are the other three meows of four meows total. Because if it were not like this, it would be different, is not an explanation for anything. If you can neither beat them nor join them, then you're clearly losing and being excluded. Validity, they say, is the grammar of relationships between physical objects in space and time. Our next wide tomorrow's major paradigm shift almost certainly involves everyone adopting cursive writing. Sometimes I wonder, what's the point of Alex Trebek being so polite about dying? If Dennis Miller's brief stint on Monday Night Football wasn't a hate crime, nothing is. Meghan Markle, she's a total bitch. She doesn't care about anybody but herself. Clearly, they considered none of my input from the design meeting. What is all this crap around me anyway? What are these red things? What is all this white shit on me? I'm getting some work done here, huh? This is hard work. I'm getting some hard work done here. You think it's easy being a YouTuber? Do you think this just happens? This magic just happens? Is that what you think? No. This is the hard, serious work of being a YouTuber that I have to battle with every day. I have to make jokes. I have to play with dolls. It's not something for the faint of heart, obviously. Okay, Sarge, so do I just stick him with the gun like this? Yeah. No, Private. Get a load of Simpson. He's carrying his gun upside down. Simpson is carrying his gun upside down. Yes, I swim, and I'm stuck up. Please don't look at me. She's a swimmer, you see. Let me make sure the chat's updating. So, I mean, CJ needs to realize as well. If you don't keep the if you don't keep the well, I mean, I was starting to do it before anybody got here. For you to start chatting to people in a while, and I was gonna actually better shit in the sink than to sit in the shank to sink in the shit. Okay, let's use that one. Okay, let's do it for sure. I'll have Corduroy say it. Like Mama always says, it's better to shit in the sink than to sink in the shit. It's a good one, Oliver. It's a good one. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. I'm an extroverted intuition dom, so I don't need the extroverted intuition to be all my own. I'm happy to take your ideas. So, like, this is Corduroy. He can say some things. If you wanted to say some fancy things, we got Suit Guy, you know. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I have to go for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or this one. Like this guy. This guy is definitely made from 100% recycled originality. According to my packaging, I'm made from 100% recycled originality. That's right. That's perfect. Let's see. I like this is my favorite one. This little lady right here, leaky, leaky, leaky. She's got the wisdom of a sassy Mexican girl. I went to Jose's house and I said, "Oh, what's that green present?" And he says, "It's my present." I said, "It's mine now, Jose." And I took it away from him. She says things like that. She's really into piñatas too, naturally. Now listen, Oliver Linehand, I want to go back to your recent comment that this is the most boring live stream ever. It could be more boring than this. You could be waiting for me to start playing with my dolls. Let's not lie. That would be more boring than actually me playing with my dolls. Tiffany says stupid things, okay? So if you have anything stupid to say, Tiffany will tell you. I don't understand why everyone's so mad at Putin. He's just trying to get the Jews and the Arabs to get along, right? Tiffany says stupid things, you know. Okay, that's a good one too. You know what's super weird? Sometimes when I close my eyes, I can't see anything. Good stuff. You see, this is definitely inclusive. You got a sentence you think I should say, I will say it. I want as many of these things as possible because I'm going to upload them all to the Shorts channel. I do have a Shorts channel, so it's not going to flood the main channel or anything. When I signed up for this job, I could have sworn they had said I'd be sweeping for mimes. Oops, messed that one up. When I accepted this job, I could have sworn they said I'd be sweeping for mimes. He's a minesweeper, get it? He's a minesweeper. Today I choose happiness. Okay, this is the girl for that, I think. This one. Today. I make this one difficult and I have a turn. Hi. Choose. Joy. That'll be a good short. I think I might put that one up on the regular channel, actually. Put that one together and stick that on the regular channel. Because I did it like stop motion, you know. What did the cat drag in? Today the cat dragged in an experiment that Eric's running called Make a Bajillion Little Shorts with these dolls saying random single sentences. Upload them all to the Shorts channel and see what happens. I said no nudity, but, you know. That's what this girl says. How am I going to make this ballerina stand up is a tough question. Maybe I can put it in here. Like this. Where's that other thing that I had before that's gone now? Here it is. God damn it, ballerina. So I am continuing to solicit from people statements that any of these dolls might say. If you have a particular doll in mind, that's fine. Or it could just be unspecified, that's fine too. This ballerina is going to be very snobby about her ballerina-ness, I think. Listen, you stupid ballerina bitch. Stop being such a stupid ballerina bitch. Stand upright. Well, but I'm standing on my tippy toes. Okay, well that makes you kind of useless, so stop it. I am a ballerina. I epitomize beauty and grace and elegance that you will never attain. There. Hi, Lady Lou. So, right now we're making a bunch of doll quotes, and actually, Jeff Shaw, right now I really would like you to say, I want you to come up with witty little meows to put, that I can have these dolls say, because I'm in the middle of an experiment about, like, my plan to upload a shit ton of shorts to the short channel, each of which is just one of these dolls saying one little thing, you know? So, for example, homie here might say, something like, Dr. Phil is about as honest as a self-righteous southern non-doctor poser. So that's to say about Dr. Phil. Babies, dogs, logs, angels, and rocks all sleep in a similar fashion. Okay, maybe if I say Chinaman it's racist, but China girls makes it sound like women are people. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Los Angeles. If race isn't real, then why do Chinamen love watermelon so much? Tiffany, if I can stand up. Don't be difficult. House guests are like fish. You can eat them, but they don't really taste very good. Thank you, Tiffany. That was a good job. Our Father may forgive us our trespasses, but He's a complete dick about loitering. Oh, my fine lines. Let's see. In the olden days, going to the shoe store and buying a car were the same thing. If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Therefore, if I want something done right, I should probably ask you. Let me redo that one. They say if you want something done right, you should do it yourself. So I guess if I want something done right, I should get you to do it. That's fine. Let's see. Corduroy, you can have this one. Do a little bit more pimping. Suit guy, maybe. You're just pimping in your own way. Swirlier spreads, girlier eyes, makes a man hornily eager to ride. They told me, if I'm in a hole, stop digging. Hence all these half-dug holes. My cat spends a lot of time watching me, but I have never once looked. My cat spends a lot of time watching me, but I have not one time ever seen her look impressed. Getting some good stuff done here, getting some good work done. Are you tired of all the pushback when you say meaningful things? Sounds like it might time. Are you tired of all the pushback when you say meaningful things? Maybe it's time you try being more vague. Anybody else got some more sentences for me to say? I'm looking for sentences to say. Best damn sentences west of the Mississippi. That's kind of funny. But wait, I am not even at the best part yet. You're gonna love this. That's what he looks like. His facial expression looks like. Yeah. Let's see. So like I was saying, I have 2 arms and 2 hands. What do you think about that? Alright, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I ain't need no man. I like that. Okay, fine. I'll have Esmeralda, leaky, say it. I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no thinking man. It's a little too Mexican, maybe. Hi, my name is Leaky, and I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need a man. Okay? To be okay? Ah. Me too, it's fun. Turn that jar around. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't even know. Cause I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm not even sure I want a man. Okay? I have my green box here, and I've got my hair thing. What else do I need? She is a strong, independent woman. So, it turns out you're not the father. Are you pregnant? Why would I be the father? No, I mean, it turns out you're not the father of electricity. Oh, well, I already knew that. You know what they say about backhanded compliments? They just don't land like fist-handed compliments. That's what it should say, right? Whatever, put that there. It's fine. The problem with backhanded compliments is they just don't land like fist-handed compliments. It's good. Like it. Good stuff. Premium known. That's foreign talk. We don't do foreign talk around here, Jeff Shaw. Sorry. Although maybe I'll have some foreign talk with one of these guys. Okay, let me have Tiffany do a Spanish lesson. She'll be. I mean, I'm sorry, Mindy. Have Mindy do a Spanish lesson for everybody. Okay, we're gonna learn Spanish for a trip to Mexico. Repite. Hay demasiado chupacabras en este pueblo. First, do no harm. I do sometimes let Rachel play with my dolls, yeah. Well, we are a gay couple, you know. I don't know if you noticed the change in my sexuality designation, but I've gone from a heterosexual male to a gay couple. So, you can expect some changes. I'm going to increase the amount of doll play I do. Rachel and I are going to fight over access to the box of tampons more. Things like that. People sometimes think marijuana is harmless, but I smoked it one time, and look what happened to me. That's this guy, right? He has no head. It knocked his head off, apparently. That's what happened to him. What about this guy? For some reason, people don't think I'm cool, but I just tell them, no way, man, I'm super cool. Come on, gang. With the right attitude, we can achieve anything. That's the sort of thing you might say. First, do no harm. Unless it's necessary to help. I'm Barry, and I'm Terry, and when we showed up at school for the first day, dressed identically, we thought everyone was going to say, "You guys are the coolest." Instead, they said we were dorks. Things that one can say when one sees some stuff. Things that one can say if you have enough. Oh my God, there's a strange bug on your shoulder. That's actually perfect for this one, okay? Stay perfectly still. There's a bug on your shoulder. Right? This is perfect for this one. I need something dark on that. That transparent thing is not good. Let me get a muggity maybe. Oh, right. Yeah. Forgot about that option. Alright, keep very still, Jackson. There's a bee on your shoulder. It's a good one. He kissed the plump, mellow melons of her rump. That's probably too hard for me to say. Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin. Millions of dolls each year lose their head. That's great. I'll definitely. Or I'd say millions of victims. Might have dolls is better. Who's going to be Sarah McLaughlin is the question. How about Tiffany? I do this one. She seems like the most activist-like type. Should be good. Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin. Each year, millions of dolls. Let me see exactly what you said. Every year, okay, let's do it that way. Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin, and this is Robert. Every year, millions of dolls lose their heads. It's good. It's good stuff, Jonathan Pisani. You're a gold mine. You're a gold mine of cleverness. They see me rolling. They hatin'. That's sort of like this dirty guy. They see me rolling, they hating. What am I supposed to do? Perfect for this guy. This dorky ass guy, you know. He's super dorky. I'm trying to determine if bulbous is a valid word. How about how can I determine for sure if my crotch qualifies as bulbous? How can I know for sure if my crotch is bulbous? Making good progress here. We're getting a lot of work done. This is impressive. If you have been worried lately about not being productive, if you were helping with this, you're being very productive right now. It's very, very productive. This is going to save the world. If you are into world saving, and really, what's the alternative? Being into world cataclysm ignoring, imminent cataclysm ignoring? That's really the only other alternative. Ignore imminent cataclysm. Okay, I got a mermaid here. Anybody want to come with a mermaid joke, please do so. Today I coded a sorting algorithm. Should I put that as her thing? So originally I was hoping to go into IT, but it's really hard coding underwater. That's what the mermaid said. I'm not staring at you, I'm staring with you. That's good. I like it a lot, Jonathan. You are on a roll, okay? Who should say that? This guy. For sure, this guy. I need to put him on a little stick or something. I could try to put his head back on this, I guess. Probably. It's an easier way to get it to be available in the way I want it. Oh yeah, this is going to work nicely. This is going to be a good one, Jonathan Basanti. You're going to win a prize for this one. I'm not staring at you. I'm staring with you. Hey girl, would you like to take a dip in these baby blue pools? Nah, girl, I'm not out of your league. This Ken doll really up close, dude. There'd be some great shit. This girl. Don't fool yourself, girl. We just getting started. Hey, I'm Brad. I like hanging out, chilling, playing Dungeons and Dragons, and having women throw their old shoes at me. If that sounds like your kind of thing, hook me up. This guy up close is coming out a great video there. Let me just tell you. Let's see what else we got here. What's an intellectual mermaid called? Algebra. Okay. Sold. Absolutely sold. I'm totally sold on that. Hi guys, it's me, Melanie. You want to hear a hilarious mermaid joke? What's an intellectual mermaid called? Algae, bra. Oh my god, I love being a mermaid. The hilarity continues. All right, I'm getting good stuff from here. Mermaids are the spawn of confused men that did not distinguish between work and play. So, mermaid confessional time again. Anyway, this strange guy came up to me and said, mermaids are the spawn of confused men who can't distinguish between work and play. What the hell does that mean? You had a night with a mermaid, would you take the bottom fish off, or are you disgusting? I'm going to do a variant on that one, Jonathan. When guys ask me out, I always start with the same question. If you had a night with me, would you want to spend the night with my fish half, or are you a disgusting pervert? Good stuff, good stuff. A little bit too dorky of a mermaid joke for me, I think. Despite their very different skills, a battle to the death between a tennis player and a ballerina is nearly always a very evenly matched affair. Okay, yeah, I'll have Ken break up with her. I'm sorry, Melanie, I just can't do this anymore. I can't be with a mermaid. But you've always known I was a mermaid. Actually, I thought you were a manatee. You know the old saying, if you can't say anything nice, say something mean. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of little sentences and shit done. Could do a couple more. A lot of times I go to people's houses and I think they think I'm stupid, and then I take all their stuff. He says things like that. Yes, my name is Corduroy, like the pants. And yes, the children made fun of me when I was little. But I showed them I grew up to become an international arms dealer. Okay, well, I think that's enough videos to start. Plenty of work to do there. Plenty of work to do. Let's see how much battery I left. I'm down 33% too, so. Alright, good job. Good amount of work done, guys. Everybody give yourselves a pat on the back. You put in a long, hard day's work here. Paychecks are in the mail. The mail. Potentiality version. Potential mail version of A Child Yet Unborn. That's where the paychecks are. Good work. Nice job today. Sleep well. I'll probably kill you in the morning. Okay, we cleaned up the area here. I don't need this no more. I got my dolls put over here now. Oh, Mindy, you still want to hang out with me, don't you? You're the original OG Mindy. When I return from a mighty quest, I've no need for sleep or rest. I head to a tavern for a drink, and get so drunk I cannot think. I like that. I'm going to have to reset up the camera for that one. I just need to find a Questly guy. Like this guy could be Questly, you know. When I return from a mighty quest, I've no need for sleep or rest. I head to tavern for a drink, and get so drunk I cannot think. There we go. Toss that one in the mix. It's fine. If it's a quote, it's fine, you know. We got plenty of quotes, like, early to bed, early to rise, early to get up and go outside. These are 3 different ways to ride if you want to be alive. Benjamin Franklin. Quotes are fine. To quote the immortal Abraham Lincoln, "What's that brown stuff?" Abraham Lincoln also told us the most famous of his quotes. Abraham Lincoln was once asked by a reporter how long a man's legs should be, and his answer, long enough to reach the ground. If you haven't ever seen or read, I guess you probably never see it, but if you haven't ever read the one-act play by Woody Allen called I forget exactly what it's called, but it's a play in which it takes that thing I just said, that there's been a reporter I'm going to visit, say to sweet Percival, "Boy, your piss be stinking." You keep making me do more of these with your good ideas. Shame on you. I'm sweet Ginnabit. And it was then that sweet Ginnabit, fucking Eric. And then sweet Guinevere, reunited with Lancelot, stroked his face and said, "Boy, your pits be stinking." Well, the one act play I'm talking about is specifically about Abraham Lincoln, and he becomes obsessed with why the person had asked the question. He was at a press conference. Somebody asks him, "How long should a man's legs be?" Abraham Lincoln quips, "Long enough to reach the ground." But then he spends the rest of the one act play obsessing over why the person had asked the question. At first he's like, "Oh, Cabinet Secretary, you've got to hear this. I just told the best joke. Everybody was dying out there in the press room." It's like Woody Allen, somebody who, by conventional standards, I guess, and I guess by good standards, there would be a certain amount of condemnation of him for his behavior with women over the years, just because he has a long history of sleeping with underage girls. Now, the thing is this. It's also the case he has a long history of those young women insisting everything was consensual, and they're not complaining about it. So it's weird, right? And, talking really positively about the experience, even though they were like 16 or something. But the shit he pulled with his Korean stepdaughter, that's scummy as hell, dude. That is some scummy ass shit. That is just straight up Pornhub stuff. Stepdad needs to punish his slutty daughter for being too slutty. That is the basic plot premise of so many of the pornography films I watch. Like, oh my God. You put mustard on my sandwich, woman. Bring me my belt. I'm making coffee if you're wondering what I'm doing. It's not a huge undertaking, but it's a bit of a process, you know. Just as Ross is coming to terms with the fact that maybe he and Rachel weren't going to end up together is a bit of a process. So too is making coffee. Okay, so now let's talk about important things. Boy, there are so many important... Okay, Jonathan's not going to keep putting away my shit and you're making me pull it back out again. You got to get that one, right? It just seems like there's nothing a guy can do to get ahead these days. It just seems like there's nothing a man can do to get ahead these days. It's great. It's great. I mean, there's no disputing his greatness, right? So, it's kind of interesting here. What you're seeing is what it looks like when you are an NE dom, with NE is an absolute value, and FE selfish. So what that means is I don't care about your good ideas except so that I can make them part of my channel. But I'm a dominant NE person, so I'm not selfish or possessive about NE. I'm happy to recognize and employ other people's good ideas, you know, as long as it makes me look good. Isn't that kind of ridiculous? Oh well, that's life in the big city. I guess I just have my way with Ken here tonight and call it an evening at some point. You know, we started out with no teeth. And I finally said, that's not good enough. My lover's quite demanding. He started by pulling out all of my teeth, but that wasn't good enough. But the experience still wasn't smooth enough for him. My lover's quite My lover's quite demanding. First he pulled out all my teeth. Then he said, still not smooth enough. Pretty good one too. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do at this point, to bore you, well, the good news is my headache's gone. That's the way to do that one, Tom. First focus, there we go. But it's not all bad news. I mean, at least my headache's gone. So I guess I'll start putting up those shorts maybe, you know. I do get this is a very boring live stream. So like when I'm watching CJ's stream and he's doing his own thing, I go like, CJ, stream right. And of course I do that shit too. That's the irony. That's where the irony comes in, you see. Wow, I got a lot of these bad boys. Quite a few. Quite a few. Okay. First, I need to change accounts. All right. Now, I'm going to upload a short. Create a short. I'm going to start down here at the bottom. And work my way up. Oh, sure, this is boring for you, live stream participants. I get it. I know. It's not fun. But at least you can chill here a little bit. I'll try to chat with you in between doing shit like this, you know. But it'll be fun to see how this experiment plays out, that's for sure.
My name is Liki. I'm SWF, Frame Lover, 6
Not that one.
I'm beginning to think that when I stayed home during COVID, I didn't actually save any lives. Because if I did, like, where are all those lives? I'm beginning.
Okay, that's fine. That's one. Yeah. Pretty good. Hi, Bobby son. You got dragged across the Atlantic by Pee-Pee? My cat? My cat dragged you across the Atlantic?
I'm beginning to think that when I...
Where are my saved lives? Done. Upload. Okay, that's one. See how many of them we get done here. Yeah, pretty good. Create a short. Yeah. Okay, put it on the bottom again. And yeah. So anyway, what I'm going to do here to help you stay extraordinarily entertained is I'm going to attempt to continually banter while
I may
doing
be
this.
the one,
It's
but
not easy. It's not easy, but I'm an expert. I'm a bantering expert, so, you know, you don't have to worry so much. Okay? You are being dumb. Now, this one I'm going to schedule it. Schedule. For today is the 12th, so I go back to the 12th. Okay. And I'm going to put it for 1:30 a.m. Okay. Set visibility, upload short. That's 2. No headless horsemen aren't centaurs. Just, so the guy would go ahead and be like, no, I'm not a centaur. Why do you think centaurs are things without heads? Upload short. Going back down to the bottom here. Boy, is it going to be exciting when I get all these done. It's going to be like, wow, you got a lot of things up here.
hi girls, I'm Mindy. I'm just here to remind you that every rose may have its thorn, but not every prick smells like a rose. Hi girls, I'm Mindy. I'm just here to remind you that every rose may have its thorn. Every rose may have its thorn. That every rose may have its thorn. That every rose may have its thorn, but not every prick smells like a rose. That every rose may have its thorn, but that every rose may have its thorn.
Every rose thorn. Schedule. March 12th. Okay. 2:30 a.m. Getting 4 things done. You're ugly and proud. Eliana Diaz, haven't I seen you before? You are not ugly. And with those braces, you look straight from Pornhub, frankly. No offense. Or nobody would call you ugly. I'm ugly, yeah, I know I'm ugly. But you're not. I don't like to call people ugly. I don't mind other people calling me ugly. I'm not really sensitive about it at all, but I don't like using the term ugly to describe people at all.
Hi, I'm Mindy, and Sasquatches definitely live in North America because I got like 2 friends who say they talked to somebody who saw one.
Sasquatches live in North America. The Vagina Monologues.
Hi, I'm Mindy, and Sasquatches.
And the thing is, the penis monologues are so much less wordy. Nah. Those are the penis monologues. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. That's good shit, baby. Nice job. Oh yeah. Those are the penis monologues. They're very straightforward, really. Will arouse be the stand? I don't know. you can stand up by becoming aroused only if your penis is very long and becomes erect by pointing straight down. Then you can levitate with an erection. On a scale of high to high, how high am I? Not nearly high enough. As usual, it's one of my ongoing problems in life. Why am I always not nearly high enough? Is it that hard to get high these days? You know? What the hell's going on with this world? With this crazy mixed up world we live in? That's what I want to know.
I'm a real leader, Mindy. So I always tell people, hey, smile. I'm a real leader. I'm a real leader.
Leadership through smiling. That's what I'm going to title this one.
I'm a real leader.
Leadership through smiling. Schedule. The 12th. Okay. 3:30. Okay. Create a short. A lot of work, but when I get them all done, my experiment will be interesting for sure.
It's definitely the case that ambiguity is less frustrating than uncertainty. But then I always second guess myself about that.
I have the next guy saying it too. Maybe I should have him say it instead. Yeah, it's fine. The point here, you can't be too perfectionist if this is your plan, right? You got to be willing to
It's definitely the case.
put up some that are less good than others, because your experiment is predicated on a single idea repeated a bunch of times. Create a short. So I know I have currently completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm on number 7.
I always say, a man ain't real at home from work till he's reclined in his chair. Yeah.
Okay. Would you go on Naked and Afraid if they offer you $1,000? I'd go on Naked and Afraid just to go on Naked and Afraid, but I'd go on it knowing
I always say,
I wasn't gonna last more than like 2 days at max, you know. I wouldn't go on there thinking I was gonna make it the whole time. I'd just be like, okay, well, I'll get on TV failing at this. You know, there's no chance I could ever survive Naked and Afraid. I'm not like tough like that. I'm not, and I'm also not, I don't tolerate discomfort well, you know. Man is really home when done. What if you get 2B with 10 women? I mean, I don't really want to. I don't really want to be with 10 naked women. The thing is, I'm not interested in sexually titillating things like that because I'm in a relationship and I don't do sexual titillation outside of a relationship except for when I want to rub one out in the middle of the night and I go into Pornhub. That's the only other source of sexual titillation in my life. And that's not really even titillation, it's just like, I don't want this to take a long time. You know, I don't want this to take a long time. And it takes less time when I don't need to use my imagination. Put it that way.
Do I look too far away from you? Do I look too far? Do I look too far away from you? Away from you? Do I?
I have to add the next one.
How about now? How about now? How about now? Do I look too far away from you? How about now? Do I look too far away from you? How about now? Do I look too far away from you? How about now?
Have I been with more than 3 women? I mean, at the same time? No, I've never been with 3 women at the same time. Have I been with more than 3 women over the course of my life? Yeah, obviously. I'm 50 years old, so I mean, I'm not a particularly experienced guy, but I've been with more than 3 total in my life. 3 women at the same time. I mean, like, what are you gonna do with 3 women at the same time? You've got one stick, right? It's great. Like, hey, what great variety. This one woman provides me, if I'm dirty, 3 potential holes, but at least 2 potential holes that are perfectly serviceable. I only have 1 penis. So it's like, I can only use 1 hole at a time. So, what do I need, a potential of 9 holes for? What about other men? I don't want any other men touching my woman. And that's my woman. Keep your hands off her. Another man in the equation sounds like a recipe for, Eric freaking out and pulling out some sort of gun. You motherfuckers! What are you doing? Oh, I'm cheating on you, Eric, says Rachel, with this guy here. Oh, is that all? Yeah, is that not cool? Oh, no, I was confused. I thought you were doing something else. I get it. Sometimes you feel like being with a considerate lover. I can understand that.
If ifs and buts were cocaine and sluts, logic classes would be a lot more popular.
It's true. If ifs and buts were logic and if ifs and buts were cocaine and sluts, logic classes would be a lot more popular.
If ifs and
Ifs and buts. Private. Schedule. 12. Okay. 7:30. Okay. Ciao. Coming along well. Coming along well. Nine holes is like playing golf. Having sex with 3 women. Why do I need 9? Why do I need 9 holes? I'm not playing golf. That's great. That's fantastic. You ever had sex with 3 women? Why would I need 9 holes? I'm not playing golf. Is just fucking golden dialogue for a movie or something, you know? Who's religious? Me? I'm that religious. I have seen Sister Wives, yes. My ex-wife, my ESFJ ex-wife used to like that show. So, I mean, I haven't watched it really, but I've walked through the room with it on plenty of times. Which is almost as good. It's almost the same thing.
I will whack you upside the head with this tennis racket if you talk to me like that again. Do you hear me? I will whack you upside. I will whack you up. I will whack you upside the head with it.
Sassy tennis player.
I will whack you upside the head with this tennis racket if you talk to me like that again. Do you hear me? I will whack you upside the head with this tennis racket if you talk to me like that again. Do you hear me?
Eliana, this message is for you.
I will whack you upside the head with this tennis racket if you talk to me like that again. Do you hear me? I will whack you upside the head with this tennis.
Just kidding. I'm not really offended by your comments. I call this sassy tennis. Schedule. The 12th. Okay. 7:30. Making a lot of. Okay, so but then let's say you do approach the 3 women thing as a Goldilocks situation, then you're not really having sex with 3 women. You're rejecting 2 in favor of the one that's just right. And that's not really the same thing as having a menage a quatre. So I think they're normal. I mean, I don't understand why any dude would want that, you know? I just don't get it. I do not get it at all. Life makes sense when I'm in a partnership with 1 woman. And even though my relationship is super easy, if you were to even dream of adding another woman, it would go from super easy to insanely complicated in 5 seconds. And what's she gonna do? I mean, it's like, we already know what's going on around here. Rachel and I hang out with each other. Why do we need some other lady around?
Hi, I'm Tiffany, and
So we
I'm
can.
in a sorority, but I forget what it's called, but have any of you seen my clothes? I'm in a sorority, but I forget what it's called, but have any of you seen my clothes? I'm in a sorority, but I forget what it's called. I'm in a sorority, but...
Tiffany seeks help. I mean, the bottom line is,
I'm in a sorority, but I forget...
it's the same thing, right? It's like, I'm not gonna be. It's not like now with this one woman, I can begin humping, but I can never reach conclusion with her. Now with this other woman, I can be the middle part of humping, but I can never start with her or conclude with her. And this third woman, only she can make me come. And that's why I need 3 women. It doesn't work like that, obviously. So, it's like you can do the same things with all of them, so why do you need 3 different ones? It's like, I don't have 3 different phones. Why? I only need 1 phone. It's not exciting for me to sometimes text on a different phone. Right? It's just a hassle. It's just another object to keep track of. That's why I don't want more than 1 woman. It's just another object to keep track of. But are you lobbying to become Rachel's sister wife or what? Well, I'm pretty sure she's not down with that.
Not having a body is not really so bad, especially when they let me sit on top of the jar like this. Not having a body is not really so.
You slap one, you flip one, you rub the other one down. Bell bib de bow. And you were hacked. Those messages went up for you. They did seem a little strange.
Not having a body is not really.
Not typically Aliana stuff, particularly. Schedule 12, okay. 9:30. We're all the way up to 9:30 in the morning now. We're making real progress here. I'm so proud of us. You were hacked from Russia? How do you know you were hacked from Russia? Oh, those Russians, they're always causing problems. What with their hacking and their war making and their mugities and their meows. It's like, enough already.
See, I told you I could climb into this jar. See?
The ducks are typing. It's fine for you to be high.
See, I told you.
$12, 10, 30. Looking good, making progress. Who am I texting? I'm not texting anybody, I'm uploading shorts. I'm making and uploading shorts. That's what I'm doing.
Costco. Can I buy a cigarette from you? Oh.
What about Rachel? Rachel is asleep. She used her sleeping bones to sleep. Welcome to Costco. $11:30. Noise. Upload short. Eric, your premise is flawed. No university student would look at the disembodied head of a bald old man popping out of the void during their basket weaving lecture. I agree. These people are paying a lot more attention to me than I would have earned if they were actually here. Do I have a Costco membership? No, I don't. My dad does. But I don't go to Costco. I go to Smart and Final, which is like Costco without a membership thing. It's cheap like Costco, kind of big box like Costco, but there's no membership and the stores are a lot smaller, so it's less of an undertaking. Costco is always a huge undertaking to go to.
Well, I guess I should have moved my hand before firing the mortar. Well, I guess I should have moved my hand before firing the mortar.
Made in China, made in China? What's made in China? Your mom's face? That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad face.
Well, I guess I should.
China does not necessarily always make shitty products. Your mom's face may have been a good example of Chinese workmanship. You never know. So don't get discouraged, Eliana. Or Eliana's troll, whatever you are. Now I'm into the afternoon already. Wow, such good progress. The USA. The USA is short for United States of America. If you really are from Russia, you should thank your lucky stars I'm not president. What do I mean by that? I mean, oh fuck no, motherfuckers.
It's not so easy being that girl. Quack, quack. It's not so easy being that girl.
It's not so easy being duck girl. Quack, quack.
It's not so easy.
People who do come around here to try to troll must find it very frustrating, right? Because it's like trolling is kind of an intuitive business, and everybody around here is way more intuitive than the trolls, so they just have zero chance, you know? What makes you think they're Russian, though? Where did you get that part? They just concluded that all hackers are Russian? Hey, we Americans can hack too, you know. You're my #1 fan. Well, you're probably not actually Eliana then, because I don't think Eliana's my #1 fan. I don't think she dislikes me, but I don't think she identifies as my #1 fan. I mean, you know, I do have an ordinated list of my fans. I can tell you, you're not number one. Number one is Winston's mom. Although there's been a lot of back and forth between Winston's mom and Boba Fett as most committed, you know. Well, but Winston's mom sends me stuff in the mail, so she wins.
How long do I have to stay like this? My knees are starting to hurt. How long do I have to stay like this?
Okay, what should we call you, Eliana person? I don't want to call you Eliana because you're clearly not she.
How long do I have to stay like this?
How long do I have to stay like this? I believe we're at 2:30 p.m. or yeah, 2:30 p.m. Okay, good. Making a lot of progress here. A lot of progress. I'm prove as a she. I can prove I'm a she. But can you prove you're Eliana? If you really want to prove you're Eliana, I can make that easy for you right now. I know what you look like, so all you gotta do to prove you're Eliana is go to here. Okay, here you go. Prove you're Eliana by showing me your face in this room. Eliana's a real person, and this is not she. Okay? I've typed Eliana. I've talked to her. I've typed her a couple of times. Or at least I had a couple of meetings with her. I think she hired me twice. I talked to her. I know what it was. I typed her and then I typed her boyfriend. So that's why I talked to them twice. I know who Eliana is, and this person here is not Eliana. Eliana is an ISFP, and this is not ISFP behavior. It's interesting. I gotta tell you that. I'm confused. What clued you in that at Eliana Diaz is a fake account and not the real Eliana, and why did this person choose Eliana to impersonate? I know, I typed her twice. Or I talked to her twice. I typed her and I typed her boyfriend. Maybe I typed her twice, I don't know. But the point is, I'm not sure of what's going on exactly regarding that Lady Lou. But if that's the case, if there are two different Elianas here who have the same name and same profile picture, then I'd like the real Eliana to come into the whereby link and confirm for me, that you are here and you are you by showing me your face. And then I'll know. If nobody comes in and does that, then probably there's one fake Eliana here and no real Eliana. I wasn't planning on calling 911. Why would I do that? Your mom's face isn't that ugly. Guess I'm on this one.
Alright, face down, here we go. Yeah. Alright.
Not that one. That one.
Usually enigmatic statements are just bullshit. Not this one, though. Usually enigmatic statements are just bullshit. Not this one, though. Enigmatic statement.
It's a good one. No, we're not actually all fake. I'm not. I'm the real host, Eric. And I'm also not fake in the sense that
Enigmatic statements are
I'm not a poser or whatever. I'm not on the Matrix, actually. I mean, you can be there if you'd like. Enigmatic statements. Let's see, schedule. 12. Are we at 4:30 or 5? We're at 5:30. I don't remember. So if I skip an hour, I skip an hour. No, I don't blame you for thinking that, because my skin is very pull-off lookable, but I actually, it's not a skin mask. The thing is, Eliana, for lack of a better word, we'll call you Zaid. We'll call your last name backwards. We'll call you Zaid, okay? Zaid, I don't have two phones, no. Why would I have two phones? I hate even having one phone. One phone is a pain in the ass. The only thing that I'm really attached to here is you have to use your phone to make shorts. You can't use your computer to make them. So you don't believe 16 people are here right now? I mean, why not? It's not like I'm claiming there's 100 people here right now. Or not like things showing there's 100 people or something. It's, why wouldn't there be? People here. This is my normal MO. You're silly.
I do say no prescriptive or normative framework totalizes except as totalitarianism.
No, I don't have any side chick, obviously. I'm not interested in stupid ass shit like that.
I do say no prescriptive or normative framework total.
I'm doing shit like this, okay? This is how I spend my free time. Obviously, you spend your free time trying to engage in sexual relations with women all the time. But I definitely do not. That's not my focus at all. I'm making videos with fun little dolls, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm having fun with dolls, okay? I'm not out trying to bang chicks, for fuck's sake. Doy. You have to have zero intuition about me whatsoever to think that I'm about chicks like that. You're distracting me, Michael. So please don't. Let's see, what was this one say again? Oh, right. Totalizing. No, not tantalizing. Okay, fine. Tantalizing frameworks. It's a good title. Tantalizing frameworks. Okay. You know what's an interesting animal? The electric eel. I watched this episode of Jeremy Wade's River Monsters, and he found this old muddy, just like at the end of the wet season, there was this one puddle. It was still like you still had water in it after it shrunk down further and further, and it was chock full of electric eels. And apparently, like a big one of those will shock you enough to kill you. That's how much electricity they'll let out. Isn't that kind of crazy that there's this creature in nature that has lightning attack? Isn't that kind of weird?
They say truth operationalizes as the status conferred upon a statement when there is agreement between competing narrators regarding that statement. They say...
They say... Yeah, you spring forward. No, you lose an hour. When you fall back, you gain an hour. When you spring forward, you lose an hour. Well, I haven't considered that, Jonathan. But what I have considered is I like this experiment that I'm doing. I'm curious to see how it turns out. Okay, I'm gonna go 2 hours this time. No, not AM, PM. There, that's right. PM. One thing I can hack is my leg with a saw. Congratulations. Sick a peck of Pikachus on me. Pick a peck of Pickaloos. Tawny. So who are you really, Eliana? Am I getting pay right now? I'll tell you what, I'll answer your question if you answer mine. Who are you really? Where am I? This one?
By myself is one meow. With a partner. By myself is one meow. With a partner. In a group. And not with us. Are the other 3 meows of 4 meows total.
Alright, good. Redo that one. So...
By myself is one meow. With a partner, in a group, and not with us, are the other 3 meows of 4 meows total. Myself is one meow. Other selves and non-selves are the other 2 of 3 meows total. myself.
That's a good one there. No, but you had a chance to come into the room. You're encouraged to do so and be open about who you are, and you're being trolly and deceptive and dishonest, and so no, stop. No me gusta, as they say in Espanol.
Myself is one meow.
So man up, be honest, say who you are. How many meows? And if you're who I think you are, I'm not gonna like insta ban you or anything. I don't typically roll like that. I mean, I speak Chinese a little bit, not much. Can say a few words. I can tell the cab driver how to get back to where my apartment was. Shui Chong Lu, Hao Chong Lu. Corner of. I just sort of demonstrate with my hands. No, I don't really play the Type Police song on a guitar, although I could practice it and stuff. It's not a bad idea, but it's not really an acoustic guitar song, I guess. But it could work fine. I just have to practice it, and I haven't. Okay, now that I got that one. Now it's time to get this one. Pyow.
I myself is one meow. With a partner. I myself is one meow. I myself is one meow.
How many meows part 2? That's what this short's called.
I myself is one meow.
How many meows part 2? No, not people 2. Part. That's why I put that there. I wasn't wrong about it, silly phone. Yes, 13th, fine. Now we're into the 12:30 a.m. of tomorrow. Oops, 12:30 a.m. Bam. Bam, that's what I'm saying. Well, it sounds like that guy is some competition for me, Skygear. I would say the clip channel guy is not doing a good job of editing then, because as somebody who's tried to edit plenty of comedic things, let me tell you, if you're in the right mood, then everything seems funny to you. Like, all your shit smells like roses. And if you're in the wrong mood, then even your roses smell like shit. You know what I'm saying, dog? Do you know what I'm saying, dog? Oh, well, the troll didn't like not being able to not being able to pull anything over on anybody, so goodbye. Thanks for not ever being honest. That was ironic. I wasn't really thanking you for that. That's not something that somebody would thank somebody for.
Because if it were not like this, it would be different, is not an explanation for anything. Because if it were not like...
Because if it were not like this, it would be different is not an explanation for anything. Wise words, Eric. Wise words. You are wise in the ways of things.
Because if it were not like this...
You know what I think would be a good video? Would be, this thing I was... Question mark. Schedule. March 13th. Yes, 13th. Okay. 2:30 a.m. Why didn't it take me back to that screen it's supposed to take me back to? Let me do another one to make sure there's no problem. Oops. Continue.
Because if it were not like this...
Explanation. There. That's better. Now it's fixed. Hopefully. Yeah. No problem there. Anybody have any thoughts on what's going on there? Who that was with Eliana Diaz? I wanted to address what Winston's mom said, which was, I don't get it. Well, I mean, I think it's somebody came onto a stream, found a harmless, non-confrontational identity, took on that name, found her exact, copied her exact circle thing, and that's who that is. Now, I don't think it was Cloud. I have my hypothesis is that it was Michael, but it's just purely speculative. I'm just speculating. He wouldn't say who he was, so it's hard for me to say for sure. He didn't come clean, That guy seems determined to try to get me one way or another, And he's just playing Sisyphus.
Because if it were not like this...
You know what I'm saying? He's...
If you can neither beat them nor join them, then you're clearly losing and being excluded.
I mean, that's just speculation on my part. I have no reason to be sure of that, but it seems the most likely explanation because he really feels like he needs to take me down a notch. That guy does, And thus far, he's been frustrated in his efforts to do so. And he seems like the kind of guy who might have some stick-to-itiveness about such a matter. So, I don't know. But like I said, he's playing Sisyphus. No matter how often he tries his scrubby techniques, they're never going to work on me, you know? And there's nothing, but there isn't much more to call them than just straight up scrubby techniques, you know? Oh, well, I hid it from the channel, so I didn't even notice. And I think I would have concluded that that was an accident, regardless. So, nothing to worry about there. Do you think the person just grabbed a name from one of your typing sessions? Well, the thing is, I think the person, if you look at the way the whole thing played out, right? First, initially, the effort seems to be, let's get Eric to admit how pervy he is. There's a bunch of stuff about, wouldn't you like to have a bunch of women and blah, 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 blah. But this is the problem that anybody trying to get me runs afoul of every time, right? The problem they can't get me, the reason they can't get me is because they seem to be intuiting that I'm not what I seem to be, you know? That I'm actually not a good person at all, and this is all an act, and I'm really just a scumbag or something, right? So the problem they have is operating under that principle. They attempt to find out where my scumbaggery is so they can expose it. But there just really isn't any. I think it's a paradigm thing where it's like, if you're a scumbag, you kind of assume everybody must be a scumbag like you. I'm going to need to have those TPS reports on my face by Monday morning. I'm getting disheartened. A couple of days ago, only 0.6 of Elden Ring players had beaten Lich Dragon Fortisax, and now it's a whopping 4.7%. Wow, that is disheartening. I feel as though my heart has been ripped from my body and dissed by some battle rappers. So I'm letting my phone charge it down to 8%. But I got a lot of shorts published or scheduled. Now, no, that's for the shorts channel. And we'll just have to see what happens. But what I'm curious about is, I bet my hypothesis, and we'll test and we'll find out if it's the case or not, is that if I were to upload bunches of shorts like that to that channel and just pump them out 10, 20 a day with the dull, sane sentences, basically, that I could outperform Talking with Famous People easily in short order. That's my hypothesis, actually. So I'm going to test it out. Try to keep that up for a couple of weeks is my hypothesis. Is that it's only going to take a couple of weeks for that shorts channel to be outperforming Talking with Famous People just doing those little things. Because I don't think shorts need... It's like YouTube doesn't really I've had one. I just haven't talked about it really because I don't. I wanted it to be what it is, which is, um, I don't want any expectations about it. It's just I'm. It's a place. It's a sandbox. So if I have a bunch of extra shorts that I feel like uploading, and I don't want us to flood the main channel, I'll put them up on the shorts channel. That's basically what the shorts channel is. Or if I have an idea like this one um, where I want to run this experiment, then I'll do that to the shorts channel. Let me see. Search. Of course, the short channel is not monetized, but it's funny. I'm not even subscribed to it myself. So the thing is, on this totally unmonetized shorts channel, I have had a couple of shorts that hit. So for example, I uploaded a short onto the short channel that's just called Master Ancient Greek in 8 seconds, got 1,500 views. And a video called A Very Professional Building got on the shorts feed for a little bit as well. So the thing is, what happens is this with this channel, if it doesn't get on the shorts feed, then it gets like no views at all, like 1, 2, 5 views. If it does get on the shorts feed, then it performs like they do on the regular channel, kind of. So I'm thinking, if I can get more, I need to figure out how much you can flood a channel with shorts before YouTube basically ignores most of them or something. And I need to experiment. And so that's what I'm doing here. Because if YouTube will let me upload as many shorts as I want and treat each of them the same, then even if I have a low hit rate with the shorts onto the shorts feed, say 20% or something, 10%, I don't want to promote it. That was the thing, Mrs. Mom. I don't want to promote it. It's a sandbox, okay? The shorts channel only exists because when I don't want to, if and when I have a bunch of shorts that I feel like uploading and I don't want to flood the main channel, then I'll dump the overflow into the shorts channel. And I also just generally wanted the shorts channel to perform purely as a shorts feed thing. I don't want to bring over subs of me really. So, it's fine if you do, but I don't want to go out of my way to promote it. It's an experiment. I want to see how a shit ton of random little Eric shorts like that does on its merits on the feed. Because the beautiful thing about the shorts feed, especially now that I'm consistently made a rule of I'm never really filming myself unless it's necessary for the idea, and then whatever I'm saying is what gets focused on plus whatever I'm filming. I'm at a big disadvantage in general. Well, not a big disadvantage, but somewhat of a disadvantage in general when I film myself talking because, I too am more likely to click a thumb with a pretty girl in it. I mean, sorry, it's sort of human nature to, of course, it's not a very powerful factor. Like, but it might be the deciding factor in, say, a song that I want to listen to. In other words, I don't know anything about what to expect from the song until I start to listen to it. No matter what the thumb says, no matter what the description says, I don't actually have any concept of what that song is going to be until I listen to it. In contexts like that, it might be the case that, you have a thumbnail with a pretty girl, it's more likely to get me to click it. So, naturally, for shorts as well, or for my channel, being an old man has its advantages and its disadvantages. One of its disadvantages is you get shit like I got from, these people being like, you're an old man harassing a young girl or whatever. But another end of it is young people like to watch other young people in general. And there's at least somewhat of a bias towards that. And maybe even old people like to watch young people in general, too. Young people have more kind of energy and verve or whatever. So, I have no idea where I was going with that. Totally lost my train of thought. Shorts channel feels more like fishing, and regular videos shorts feel more like fishing. Regular videos feel more like tapping a maple tree. Some of them end up having a lot of maple syrup that comes out, and some of them have a little bit of maple syrup that comes out, but there's kind of always a finite amount of maple syrup that comes out, and then it stops coming out, Some of them will have continued dripping for years, but I've never really had anything take off, It's like, I do a video up with, I don't know, 50, 60,000 views on it or something. But, right. Well, there's that. So, Peter didn't teach you to highlight something of worth noting here, which is, it is the case that young people like to watch videos of old people being surprised by newness, right? Unfortunately, I'm not well positioned to make those videos. I'm not very surprised by newness. I'm a curve surfer. I'm ahead of the curve. I know about all the cool things, and I do the cool things, and I'm FE third, so I'm not going to be able to play that role very well. Sometimes I can. I mean, I think young people can kind of get a kick out of my somewhat squeamish, kind of old-fashioned-y views on sexual intercourse. But if they spend any time around here, they're going to discover that there's very little meat on that kind of bone around here, where you get to enjoy an old person learning things from young people and being surprised and delighted by them. I do learn things from young people constantly, but it's my MO, not the exception that produces the reaction you want, I mean, I would like to do sort of song reactions and critiques. If I could be confident that I wouldn't get it's like, I would like to do song reactions or critiques to people who would like to have their songs reviewed or something. And so I know I'm not going to get a copyright thing on the music. music's so iffy, as to whether or not I'm going to get a copyright thing on it. Of course, if you upload the video, you can find out after the fact without getting in trouble whether in fact it's a copyright problem. And as long as you don't publish it yet and you wait for all the checks to run, then you don't get in trouble for uploading it, right? As long as you don't publish it. So it's not so much a risk to attempt it as it is a risk of wasted work to have attempted it, because if you pick a song that you get copyrighted on, then you wasted that work. You can't use that. So I could look more into figuring out exactly who on YouTube would be cool with me reviewing their stuff and who wouldn't. I'd like to do music reviews but I'd like to do it from an artist to artist perspective, like to give some sort of constructive feedback as well as a general aesthetic thing, to be productive in my critiques and not mean at all, because I'm a struggling musician too. I get it. I tend to be mean about my critiques about people's poor argumentation because I don't identify at all with struggling with that, So it's harder for me to empathize with other people, I suppose. One might posit, anyhow, if that's the case. You are such a sexy stud. And no teeth. I mean, I think there's potential for people to watch reaction videos from me if I were to react to the right kind of things, and it's just, I have this weird, I hate the idea of making videos and then ending up with getting copyrighted. So that's the other thing that's making me a little squeamish about Type Police. It's funny hearing in CJ's stream today that he thinks probably a lot of people here aren't sure Type Police is a good idea, that maybe I shouldn't be doing Type Police. I don't think that's actually the case. I'm not sure that he may believe that, but I'm not sure that a lot of people around here think that. I mean, I think reaction videos are consumed by FE people, probably FE 1-2 especially. Although FI people could maybe consume them as well. It makes more sense that FE people would consume them because they're getting off on other people's emotions. Like, Rachel and I really both got off on this one Twitter video of this family in the stands as their son / boyfriend / brother, because the whole family's kind of there, is attempting a last-second game-winning field goal in Texas for Texas A&M, I believe it was. And I have never been so totally satisfied to not see any of the gameplay. Watching this family's level of tension and stress and hope and then elation when it went through, and and crying and stuff, it was so vicariously moving, Okay, Peter didn't teach you? If looking at the way we're dressed up with my blue and orange gun and my toy walkie-talkie that makes a siren sound, and it's not a parody, right? It's absolutely not a parody. It's what it is. It's entertainment that makes an attempt to not be dishonest. In other words, I could go around and just put everybody in jail and create a bunch of controversy, and then that would be a parody, right? That would be a parody of a type police, actual type policing. I'm not doing a parody. I'm actually doing the best job I can regarding what type they are. But what I do make clear in almost every episode, but not every episode, maybe I should in every episode, but I do make clear is the truth is I don't know what type you are until after I've typed a person in full. But we're just a type police. We just have to have probable cause to arrest them. I try to make that clear in every instance, right? So it's not a parody. Look, the fact is, the absolutely determinate fact here regarding type police is this. Melissa Talks is not an ENTP. And stating that truth is not a bad thing. Even if it makes her feel bad. Well, Peter didn't teach you. I mean, the thing is, what really concerns me is this. Your concern about the ethics of the type police has been inflamed by an example of me doing things perfectly. But because one party was very squeaky about it, and because there's been the secondary squeak from Michael, you think, well, you know what? Maybe we do need to be more careful, quote unquote, right? No, this is very clear cut. I did things perfectly. That woman reacted horribly, and Michael's insane. I mean, I don't agree with you, Peter Dentigi. I don't think that your current stating of a need for there to be a lot of care given when doing those is not informed by your recent experiences. I don't believe you. I think it is informed by your recent experiences. And I think that that's fundamentally wrong, because those recent experiences should not give you that information. I mean, you can always say that I could be better, right? But it's easy for you to say, Eric, you could keep more in mind. You could work harder and more carefully. You could produce more what I think is the right kind of stuff. You can sit there and say that all day, right? But since you don't do any of it, you don't know enough about the process to understand whether what you're saying makes sense in it at all. In other words, you can't merely evaluate these pieces of media as pieces of media that could be better. You have to also consider that I have a finite number of hours in the day. I produce a certain amount of media, and that for every piece of advice that you might have that I might follow, there is a corresponding sacrifice in something else that I'm doing. I know, it's ridiculous, Rain. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But I get it. We're in an era where we have a more nuanced understanding of how to engage other people's ideas, such that it does matter that I engage your ideas in a civil fashion. I engage her wrongness in a civil fashion, that I don't say abusive things, etc., etc., that I don't go out of my way to hurt her feelings. That to the extent that I can take reasonable measures to soften the blow, that a decent human being does that, right? So it's understandable that as primarily audience members are going to react as audience members. They don't want to see somebody be mean. And if somebody's suffering a lot, it doesn't really matter who's right. The general response of empathetic people is, that suffering is bad. Let's try to console her not continue to argue with her, right? That's basically the value that gets violated by tight police. But unfortunately, the absolutely determinant factor is if we were talking about blood type instead, okay, and then these people would be probably shut down by YouTube for spreading misinformation about medicine. In other words, it's not the case that if you mix somebody else's A negative blood with your B positive blood, that it makes super C blood. So if you're disseminating that information and people are acting upon it during blood transfusions for some reason, you run the risk of killing people. So that sort of misinformation is decreasingly tolerated at YouTube. I view typology like that. I don't view it like astrology type or numerology type or anything like that. You don't have to agree with me on that, but the problem is I'm right about that. So when I'm predicating what I'm saying in part on the fact that this is like blood type, you can't just make up whatever shit you want and spread it as though it were actual information when it's about important shit that is determinate, medical shit that matters to people, right? And the thing is, in a way, cognitive functions makes everybody grow up. Because what does it really mean to grow up? It means to stop lying to yourself. And to stop being wrong about yourself. Both those two things. That's what it means to grow up. So, cognitive functions allows an ESFP to be who they are and to understand that they can view themselves as creative while acknowledging that they're not an extroverted intuitor and that they have corresponding strengths that are desirable over the strengths of those extroverted intuitors. So like you look at Amy, she's much better at engaging other people in the community than I am. And I can imagine the rest of the community calling Amy the Eric Whisperer. She's an ESFP. Okay, Peter. I don't mean to reflexively fight with you. I'm sorry if I'm doing that. You and I are not enemies. I think you're a very, 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 very special lady. And I want you to know that when I fondle your tender shoots, it's with the moistest of love. You can all take that home. Rely on that. You can bank on that. It's like the one of the most offensive comments I got about that whole thing, to me, was a woman who was clearly, authentically trying to bridge the gap between the two sides on this issue. And she said, look, regardless of exactly what happened, she's clearly hurting a lot. Why don't you just take her aside privately and apologize? I was just like, I don't need to apologize to her. If anybody needs to apologize to anybody, she should apologize to me. She's the one who insulted me and defamed me with false accusations. Although it can be stated that she never explicitly named me, I don't know who else she could possibly be talking about. The one person that everybody warned her about, who was a 70 to 80-year-old man. I mean, who else is 80 in the community besides me? I think I'm the only 80-year-old we got, right? I'm the only octogenarian in the typology community, so it must be me. But remember, Peter, you can't determine whether I've accurately intuited, comprehended your position by whether I agree with it. And I think a lot of times you make that mistake. You think that if I'm not agreeing with what you're saying, then you've just simply not expressed your position well enough, that it's still correct. But if I'm not agreeing with your position is what you stated, and those words are not correct. And that's there. We need to go no further than that. So you don't think that happens? You think I'm misinterpreting that, Peter? You think that, in fact, when you and I are in disagreement, it's because I'm not understanding what you mean? Okay, well, so you think when you and I are in disagreement, by and large, it's because I've either rebutted a point you weren't making, or I'm looking at it from a wrong angle? Okay, I mean, I agree with you there. Whether or not I get where you're coming from is another way of saying, can I repeat back to you what you said? If I can, and comprehend the meaning of those words, then I get where you're coming from. But the problem is, what I'm saying is, I think to check to see if I get where you're coming from, you check for agreement. Because I can do that. I can restate back to you your words and explain what they mean. And then you might still say, no, Eric, you're not getting it, right? So it's not that I don't get where you're coming from. It's that I don't agree. Because that's the only way we can operationally define the idea of getting where you're coming from. Can I restate to you, maybe in paraphrase, what your words are, and based on what they mean, understand what you're saying, and have us come to agreement that that's what you mean? To the extent that there's a failure to accomplish that, it's because you're not using the right words, or you don't actually have anything that you mean that's communicable, you know? But this brings up an idea I had. I think I'm going to make into a separate video. Maybe I'll clip it from this. I don't know. The basic difference between TE and TI can be viewed in how Jordan Peterson and I have the same basic position on rights stuff, right? But this is extremely revelatory about how much frame matters, and how we can have the same position on it, and him be wrong and me be right. Okay, so here's Jordan Peterson's position on rights. I mean, we're having a lot of conversations about rights, you know, but There's another half of the equation. It's responsibilities. We can't just have a conversation. Okay. So here's my take on it. Well, the problem is whatever it is you're talking about. I mean, you're saying like rights. It's either a rights issue or it's not. So if somebody's talking about like the right to healthcare, well, then the problem's very simple. That's not a right. Now, if you're talking about rights, a right is defined as that which confers a duty onto another. So, in other words, you have to talk about it in those terms necessarily. But if you're not talking about a right, then the problem is not a failure to talk about the responsibility end of things, but rather a failure to use the right words. Yeah, but my conjecture on its accompanying FI doesn't matter because it's not relevant to anything. I might say, no, you're just meowing. And I might be wrong about that. But why you're wrong in terms of a motivational perspective is different from why you're wrong in terms of an argumentational perspective. What I'm speaking toward is absent of the result of being right and wrong. It's about the process of getting there. Well, see, that's the problem. Argumentational work is purposed towards attaining a status resolution. And to the extent that it's not treated as such, then we're just intellectually masturbating. Do you know what I'm saying, dog? Do you feel me with my frog? Do you think it's some kind of log? Are you gonna forget it? Would you like to touch my cheese? I don't want you to touch it, please. Stop touching my cheese all the time. Peterson and Tisha and I used to be good friends, but we had a falling out when he continually touched my cheese and refused to stop doing it. It was a big fight. We've had a couple conversations since where I say like, hey, I love you, bro. I miss you, man. But nothing's resolved yet. You know how that goes. Sure you do. Of course you do. Which one did I do last? This one?
Validity, they say, is the grammar of relationships between physical objects in space and time. Validity, they say, is the grammar of relationships between physical objects in space and time.
Validity, they say. Very pedantic sounding, huh? Geez, what are you dudes arguing about? I don't know what we're arguing about. I'm arguing about how much he touches my cheese. I'm tired of him constantly touching it. Did you guys hear what I was saying about the Jordan Peterson thing? That's TE versus TI. Somebody who's able to do the framework and somebody who's not. If in fact you've got a bunch of people clamoring for their right to free healthcare, the problem is not that they're failing to have the responsibility half of the discussion. The problem is there is no right to free healthcare. The word they mean to be using is they would like to be entitled to healthcare. And because they've used the wrong word, of course, there is no other half of the conversation. When you're talking about entitlements, there is no responsibility half of the conversation. So the problem isn't that they're failing to have the responsibility half of a rights conversation. The problem is that they're pretending to have a rights conversation about something that's not a right. You know? So how I hope that that should be a really powerful indication of how much better NETI is than TENI at understanding things. because it's clearly correct, right? What I'm saying is definitely correct. And he has been what? He's been frameworked into thinking that they're having a conversation. They're having half the conversation, rather than recognizing that they've called entitlements rights. I don't know what you're trying to get at. I don't know what Peter's trying to get at. I think he was trying to tell me to do something, which I don't like. Obviously. I don't like being told what to do. It makes me like, hey, who are you? Stop telling me what to do. I don't like it, big poo. Go away. You know? If your heart is truly aligned with the spirit of Christmas, then you will be in 100% agreement with me about everything.
If you can neither beat them nor join.
Okay. Now, this one.
Our next white. Tomorrow's major paradigm shift almost certainly involves everyone adopting cursive writing. Tomorrow's major
paradigm shift. Important. And since so many people claim that something you think isn't a right is in fact a right, then what you mean by right is obviously not intuitively clear. No, I have stated a definition of a right immediately. A right is that which confers a duty onto another.
Tomorrow's major paradigm shift.
I mean, and it's not like that's a weird definition of it, you know? So the thing is, to have a duty conferred onto you means that you can be held accountable if you fail to uphold that duty, right? So that means if we have a right to free health care, then we can hold some party accountable should they fail to provide it. But it's never clear which party that could possibly be. Even if you say the government has the duty to provide the health care, there's nobody to hold accountable if it's not provided. So, in other words, if I violate your rights, I've committed a crime against you. But if you don't have free health care, no one's committed a crime against you. Yeah, it could be an institution. But the point is, a duty is defined as that which, failing to uphold, you can be held liable for. And the problem is, no matter how you want to frame it, that's not the case with healthcare. You may say you have a right to healthcare and articulate that the government has the duty to provide it, but reality contradicts you because there's no party in particular you can hold accountable should that provision fail to be made. Okay, I mean, you could argue that a specific elected official in the government is responsible, in which case then you'd have a party that could be held accountable. But the problem with that is the only way you could meaningfully afford him accountability in that fashion is if you also afforded him equivalent power. And the amount of power to uniformly make sure everybody gets health care would essentially make him a dictator. So, and then, if he has that much power to do all the things that are necessary to provide health care for everybody, no matter what, for free, and somehow not destroy the economy, then how is he going to be held accountable? Because after all, let's say not everybody gets health care. Well, is he held accountable of being elected by not being reelected? That's not being held accountable. Being held liable is not the same thing as being held accountable. You need to be able to hold someone liable when your duty is not upheld. And it seems you certainly. I mean, it's conceivable that you could write a constitution that says that elected officials shall be held. These particular elected officials' offices, the officials holding these offices, will be held criminally accountable if standard isn't met. You could consider constructing such a constitution, but I mean, you're talking about a major whole change in multiple paradigms in government. But how do you hold that party liable? So let's say I don't get this free health care, and then because of a lack of coverage, I suffer sepsis in my leg wound, gangrene sets in, and I have to chop off my leg, okay? So is it the secretary of the Ministry of Health that gets sued and has to pay out of her own pocket? Is she the one responsible? Because liable means you have to pay the damages, right? So if in fact you have a government position where if you don't do it perfectly, you are personally liable for damages to everybody who is negatively impacted by that imperfection, nobody will ever do the job, first of all. I mean, so Peter Dintici says that's why the vaccine mandates by the government are so evil. They're wanting to force it in people without also being held accountable for any unintended effects or liable. I mean, I agree that vaccine mandates are bad public policy and rights violating. I agree. But there's a lot of other things the government does that are equally rights violating that seem to incite a lot less outrage, I mean, look, the thing is, it is possible to confer a universal positive duty. So, in other words, we could and the other thing is, we need to remember that there's a difference between legally affirmed rights and rights that are definitionally understood by relationships. So it's like we can legally put into the law a right to vote, but there's no negative right to vote. So we can mandate positive rights, but negative rights, if we fail to mandate them, we will be failing to make legally criminal, actually criminal behavior. That's not necessarily the case with positive stuff. So it's important to keep that stuff in mind as well. Regardless, even if Skygear is right, and the term is very ambiguous, then that's the problem. Because a negative right is an actual violation of another person's autonomous self, okay? It represents a crime against person or property. And those things are clear and distinct from failure to fulfill positive obligations. So if I just don't show up for work one day, I've failed to fulfill a positive obligation, and I may even cost the business money. But the most the business can do is fire me. They can't sue me for that. Because I'm not liable in the same way. I put it this way. The most they could do is fire me, but in theory, maybe they could sue me. But what they couldn't do is get me guilty for theft. Even though my negligence caused them to lose money, it doesn't qualify as theft because I didn't violate their negative right. I violated their positive right. Their positive right, which is my commitment to come to work when they say I'm supposed to come to work, affirms onto me affords them a positive right to my attendance. No, Sky, you're not listening then. If you think that, then you genuinely have not heard. I've explained this so many times before as well. No, I absolutely do not need a new definition. Because everything that confers a duty onto somebody is a right. Now, the reason the question gets a little iffy is because natural rights or negative rights are that which confers a negative duty onto everybody. So my right to bodily integrity confers a negative duty onto everybody else, not to force things into my body. Not to violate my consent barrier in interacting with my body. Okay? If I say I have a right to health care, normally with positive rights, they are almost always, if understood correctly anyway, they occur when two parties have some sort of mutually consensual exchange. So if I go to McDonald's and pay at the first window, I have a positive right to my food at the second window, and they have a duty to provide it. Let's say they failed to provide it, and I was to call the cops. Still, nobody would get arrested for theft. If eventually this was some sort of a pattern, maybe a prosecutor would get involved and charge McDonald's with fraud. But the point is, even though a crime has been committed, my money has been taken, and my food has not been given to me, even though that's the case, because it's a positive right, it's treated differently. Now, the most important thing to remember here is that everything that confers a duty onto another party is a right. So just your existence confers duties onto everybody else to respect your autonomy. But positive rights confer duties onto others because of something you do. When you say, I have a positive right to clean drinking water, if that were the case, and you sat down in the middle of a room, and you didn't get yourself any drinking water, then when you died of thirst, someone would be at least civilly liable for your death, even though you could have gotten your own water the whole time. That's what it means to have a right to clean drinking water. Because to have a right to clean water confers a duty onto somebody else specific who's going to be held liable criminally if you die, at probably at least civilly if you die. So I don't need a redefinition, right? It's not my definition anyway. This is, I mean, regardless, I don't want to read this or read that with you, but this is well established argumentation lines. These are not new lines of argumentation. And while it might be possible to try to muddy the line here, it's what you might call arguing from the margins plus vagueness. It's not a real critique. So could you say a right to access clean water? Well, I mean, yeah, everybody. What you would say is nobody has the right to prevent anybody else from attaining clean water. That would be the best way to put it. But of course, it's got to be direct. It's not like, oh, well, nobody helped us dig this well, and so now we're drinking the dirty water because we're doing a slow job of digging it, and a lot of our people got dysentery, and someone's to blame. No, it's not like that. But it might be like this. We had a perfectly fine drinking water source until that factory opened up upstream, and now we can't drink the water. Then you'd have definitely a case, right? Then somebody's liable because they violated your rights. Water rights are a particularly tricky kind of rights to actually articulate. They're much more legalistic than, say, negative rights or positive contractual rights. Oh, okay. Yeah, the definition is something that confer that which confers a duty onto another is the definition. That which confers a duty onto another. So, for example, when it comes to your mom's face, my butt is a right because it confers my duty onto her face. See how I did that joke there? From what I understand, you say is to make healthcare a right would require appointing a scapegoat liable to accept fault, and the issue of is who would that be. Well, it's much more basic than that. If I have a right to healthcare, do I have an obligation to healthcare? Do I have a right to no healthcare? The thing is, if I have a right to healthcare, then that confers a duty onto someone to provide it for me on demand. So, if it were a universal right, like a negative right, and I had a right to healthcare, then that means that if humans had a right to healthcare, then that means that anybody could go and demand health care from anybody at any time, and that other party would have a duty to respect their right and provide that health care. The reason we can't have positive rights like that, in large part, is because whether or not somebody can fulfill a duty is important in positive rights, but it's not a question that matters in negative rights. Because negative rights, the duty is always not to act. So everybody has the capacity not to act. With positive rights, the duty is to act. And not everybody has the capacity to act. So you can't universalize a positive right. There is no universal right to health care, because in the same way that there's a universal right to bodily autonomy, because I can go up to anybody and demand that they respect my bodily autonomy, and I am justified in expecting them to respect my bodily autonomy. But I can't go up to anybody and demand they provision health care for me. They provide health care for me, and it be reasonable in my expectation of that. So this is why words and the definitions of them matter. Rights, universal rights, are negative rights. And if you want to say you have a right to health care, you can correctly say that by warranting it as follows. I have a right to receive health care because I've paid my health insurance bills. Then you have a right to receive health care. You know? So the important thing to remember is that rights are either universal or not. And that their universality or non-universality links strongly to their negativity or positivity. Well, we say there are universal basic human rights which confer duties onto all other parties to not violate your bodily autonomy, to not steal from you, to respect your freedom of conscience, things like that. Basically, to not try to take ownership of you, to not try to make you a slave in some fashion. It's too hot in here. It's too hot. Hush, hush, hot. A quadriplegic prostitute should be absolved from any obligations of rightly making a man positively satiated, assuming the man hired her services knowing her state of being in the first place. Now, if she misrepresented herself as fully abled, then I disagree with you. All right. Well, it's against the law to fraudulently misrepresent yourself, you know. What qualifies as that is how misleading and in what ways, I guess. Yeah, the lemon law. Talk about a law that was unnecessary. There was a stretch of time in the 70s, mid 70s to early 80s where American car companies were making such shitty cars that, 1 out of 20 of them or something, when you bought it, it was just not really a good car. It was a lemon. It was just fucked up from the very get-go. And, of course, the free market's going to solve that problem. And a law about it is going to just produce a bunch more shit, It's not the case that anybody buys a lemon anymore. These car companies are doing too good of a job of making cars for that to happen. Why can't they violate human rights? No, I mean, just because you can't hold anybody accountable in actuality doesn't mean that rights weren't violated and that they are in sort of an abstract status. They ought to be held liable. That if justice were to prevail, they'd be held liable, So in other words, it is true that when rights are violated, sometimes people get away with it. The fact that they didn't get held liable or accountable is not relevant to the status of whether they are morally liable and accountable. So they don't have to be legally held liable. They it just is the case that they have incurred that status. That's their consequence. And the thing is, if we wanted to set a standard where it was only possible to violate rights when those rights violations were remedied through liability remediation by the guilty party, then rights wouldn't function as a justification, right, for the thing that they're doing. So if in fact we couldn't ever use rights as a justification in arguments until after the system has tested out such that it remediates injustice regarding rights, then we've created a catch-22. We've double bound ourselves because we've created a situation where in order for the thing that you're using to justify the action to exist, the action has to work. And that doesn't make any sense. But I will say, Sky Gear, your devil's advocacy is well refined tonight. It's an elegant, refined form of devil's advocacy you're doing at the moment. I sort of appreciate the aesthetics of it. Even though you are, of course, WRONG. What's that spell? Wrong. Alright, now you guys are distracting me from my important business of uploading shorts. I've got important work to do, you guys. What are you doing here? You're killing me, Larry. Is Larry really killing that guy? That's what I want to know. I don't think he is. I think it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for our trying times.
Sometimes I wonder, what's the point of Alex Trebek being so polite about dying? Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder, what's the point of Alex Trebek?
Sometimes I wonder, what's the point of Alex Trebek dying so politely? I guess it's just being a Canadian.
Sometimes I wonder.
Schedule, 13th, okay, fine. What time are we at now? I don't remember what time I'm at. Let's go to 6 a.m. This will be fine. We'll start there. And then we will meow the meow, push the meow. Okay, happiness is a choice, not a result. That's such bullshit, though, right? Isn't that bullshit? It's neither a choice nor a result, really. Happiness is the absence. Happiness is like capitalism. It's the absence of interfering vectors. You're happy when the world's not interfering with you being you very much. In other words, the basic demands of getting enough money to live and stuff don't require things of you that you can't stand providing, or too many things of you that you can stand providing, and that it basically appreciates and respects who you are, and all those other things. When that happens, then happiness is no longer suppressed by the harsh reality of the world's fucked upery.
If Dennis Miller's brief stint on Monday Night Football wasn't a hate crime, nothing is. If Dennis Miller's brief stint on...
And that they're speaking of a result. What's the result?
If Dennis Miller's brief stint on...
Is it 34-7, you versus me? Dennis Miller, Monday Night Football. Okay, 13th. Okay, we're gonna go with the 8 a.m. Just fine. Go back and blow the short rule. And there we go. Wouldn't rights be things that the law simply describes and makes referenceable rather than something it creates? Yeah, I mean, the concept of a right is that it's a way to describe legitimacy, you know? It probably, I don't really know. Actually, I think Horsemuller checked this and corrected me on this, but I prefer this idea that it originated simply as people saying, well, this person's right. Well, why is he right? And every time you explain it, it breaks down into a rights calculus. In other words, it's always about ownership. Everything's rights related is about ownership. And so anything that you want that's not an ownership issue that you want to make rights claims about, you're going to have serious issues making any sense. So that's why I'd say there's no right to privacy, because there's no ownership component to it. You have a right to attain privacy in property you own or have legitimate control over or whatever. It's like you have the right to get yourself a drink of water, right? You have the right to remove yourself from the public view. You don't have a right to privacy, because if you did have a universal right to privacy, then anytime anybody told you to stop looking at them, you'd have to comply or violate their rights and be guilty of criminally violating their rights. And that doesn't make any sense. It's not sustainable to universalize positive rights. It doesn't work if you try to generalize it out. Positive rights have to be attained by a consensual agreement between two or a finite number of parties. That's just all there is to it. And if you disagree, then I'm going to pee in your tea.
Meghan Markle? She's a total bitch. Meghan Markle? Meghan Markle? She's a total bitch. She doesn't care about anybody but herself. Meghan...
She's right about Meghan Markle, this lady here. Hood rich, Trilla chick. Hey,
Meghan Markle?
did I meet you at a party?
She's a total...
Hood rich, Trilla chick. No. Look, the universal right is you own your own body, right? So all rights ideas stem from that axiom. For what we can all concede, perhaps, that it's an arbitrary axiom, that it is attained axiomatic status simply by mostly universal consensus that slavery is morally wrong. From that basic axiom, which is, I agree, not justified, but simply treated as an axiom, all other negative rights calculi can be deduced. The question isn't whether or not you can be enslaved. The question is whether you own your own body and you own your own self. And the thing is, the reason you can't sell yourself is because it would be fraud. You can't actually sell your own will. You will continue to have it no matter how much you promise somebody else that you will obey them. You still have your own independent will. You cannot actually sell yourself as though you were an object to be used as an object by somebody else because you aren't one. So it's fraudulent. Meghan Markle. But the point of all this, Sky Gear, rather than battling with the TI side of things here, the side that you're on, how about you help us out a bit and not do that? My point is that Jordan Peterson's argument that the problem is they're having half the conversation about rights, but they're not having the half conversation about responsibility, is not correct. They are not having the half of the conversation about rights, because even if you want to expand the definition of it somehow, or challenge my definition of it, surely you'll agree they're not having this conversation about rights. They aren't having this conversation about how they ought to be defined. No, Sky Gear, what we'd say is, according to a negative rights framework. Now, if you want to get down to the bottom of exactly what that is, where the axiom in that is, you can ask questions to get there. But it's called and generally understood by everybody. You're questioning stuff that's been well questioned by lots of different people. This is not a new definition I'm busting out here. This has been debated many, many, many times. You know. The thing is, the negative rights framework, which is the deontological framework, which is the Kantian framework, ultimately, it is a normative framework, first and foremost, because it can tell you in advance whether or not a given action is morally acceptable or not. Whereas, if you allow certain things to be positive right universalized, it loses that feature. You have to check with law then to find out whether you're in adherence with law, and it no longer matches with morality. So the answer is, what's my logic for the negative rights framework? It's not mine. It's Kantian deontology that was understood as, which people try to sort of break into a more politically prescriptive format on a couple of times. It's like you're battling in the wrong spot. You really are.
Swirlier spreads, curlier eyes, makes a man hornily eager to ride. Swirlier spreads, curlier.
A limerick. I mean, the thing is, there didn't used to be any dispute about the definition of these words, Geiger. What's happened is the same thing that happened to the word save in California. Save means
swirliest spreads.
to gather, to gather stuff by keeping ones you come across and not using them, and then by accumulating them over time, right? Well, we could save water here in California. We would do that by building cisterns that collect and save water. And then we'd use that water that we had saved during the rainy season in our cistern during the dry season. But instead, the entire state of California thinks save means use less. Now, granted, colloquially, it is used like that, right? But do you see how framing has limited everybody's perspective on the matter? So, by implying always the same meaning with the word save, that is, say, the colloquial meaning of use less of it, and never treating the word like it matters if we use a precise word or not, you create a population that loses the capacity to distinguish between the two meanings of the words when thinking about the question of water. So I've been interested a lot in the fact that when I ask people, well, how do you solve California's drought problem? People go, oh, wow, that problem is incontrovertible. You know, it's like you're never going to resolve that. You're asking me to make peace between the Jews and the Arabs in Palestine or something. That's crazy. It's never going to happen. But really, the answers are so straightforward. More cisterns? Desalination plants? I mean, it's like there are very simple, concrete answers to it. They may not be perfectly easy solutions, but they're ways to get more water. So, but nobody seems to ever think to say those things, right? And then when I ask about plastic in the oceans, people come up with lots of very creative, complicated ways of getting plastic in the ocean, or they tell me lots of reasons why it's too hard a problem for them to solve. But nobody ever says scoop it out of the water from the side of a boat, which is the actual answer, like the actuality of getting plastic out of the oceans, right?
They told me if I'm in a hole. They told me if I'm in a hole, stop. If I'm in a hole, stop digging. Hence all these half-dug holes. If I'm in a hole.
If I'm in a hole, stop digging. Hence, all these half-dug holes is.
If I'm in a hole, stop digging. Hence all these half-dug holes.
Perfect.
If I'm in a hole, stop digging. Hence all these half-dug holes.
Okay, that's good writing right there. That's good writing. What time do I have something in the morning? Let me look. Let me look on my calendar. My calendar of wonder. See what it says. If it's a fun time or if it's a fest. Did I just upload that without 10 a.m.? Ah, so soon. Oh well. What's a man to do? What's a man to do when nobody listens, even though he's saying several things? Why did two of them publish at the same time? I guess I published them at the same time. Let me manage videos. Maybe I think I got one that's private. I need to schedule it. What time are we at scheduled for? 11 a.m. March 13. Where's the one that didn't get scheduled properly? Any of them? No? Alright. Looking good. Oh, there it is. Private. This one. This is the one that didn't get scheduled properly. May 13th, 12 p.m. We're going to call that 12 p.m. High noon. High noon. See how my experiment goes. I'm curious, quite curious to see. Obviously, I'm hopeful the experiment works and I get a lot of views on this shorts channel, even though it doesn't have any subs. You know, it's like it shouldn't need to have any subs for the shorts channel to get a lot of views because of the way the shorts feed works, as far as I can tell. But what do I know? I'm just Mr. Guy, the guy who does stupid shit all the time, so why would you listen to me? That's a pretty good point there, Eric. You are just Mr. Guy, the guy who does stupid shit all the time.
Clearly, they considered none of my input from the design meeting. What is all this crap around me anyway? What are these? What is all this design meeting? Clearly, they
considered none of my input.
Clearly, they considered none of my input from the design meeting. Clearly,
Design meeting. Done. Private? No. Scheduled. 13th. Pyow. Okay. Yeah. 1 p.m. Ooh. Go. Okay. Yeah. Upload. Pyow. Look at all this work I'm getting done. This is what I call SE. It's what I call getting shit handled. It's what I call winning the war against Eric. I'm finally winning the war against Eric. I wish YouTube would stop showing me fucking so much video of planes blowing shit up. It makes me say wah. I don't want to say wah, but you make me say wah. I wish you wouldn't constantly make me say wah. Wah, 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 wah. I'm baby pig poop face. Well, Rachel and I realized tonight, which is kind of a special moment, when it occurred to us that makes her lady baby pig poop face. Wait.
Okay, Sarge, so do I just like stick him with the gun like this? Like, yeah. Okay, Sarge.
Army man asks Sarge. Eric, did you ditch the idea of a relationship between agent, object, subject, and function slots? No, not at all, actually. For example, I have a video not that long back in which I explained the ways that, for example, well, the best example is,
okay, Sarge.
It's ESTP. Their NI is fourth slot, right? Well, what does that actually mean? It means that they are maximally attaining on an introverted intuition level when it's concurrent with extroverted sensing. So what it means is they use NI as though it were an action function, right? Even though it's a knowledge function. And that's why they can have great NI when they're drummers playing with a band or whatever, but they've got bad NI when it comes to what's good music to listen to. It makes perfect sense, right? ESTPs have bad taste in music, but they don't necessarily make bad music. They're unlikely to be the leading creative force in a thing, but they're quite likely to be have very good aesthetics in real time. So, Army Man asks Sarge. "2:30 p.m. Wow, we're really getting a lot of work done here tonight. A lot of work. You guys are being helpful by being there and making this less boring than it would otherwise be. Uploading all these things. There's a lot of SE, you know. That's the challenge with this concept is it's got a lot of SE. Maybe Rachel and I could split the task if I showed her how to do it. You know. Where am I? Okay, I guess I see, I'm right here. Wow. So I have so many to go.
Get a load of Simpson. He's carrying his gun upside down. Get a load of Simpson. He's carrying his gun upside down. Get a load of Simpson. He's carrying his gun upside down. Get a load of Simpson. Get a load of Simpson. He's carrying his gun upside down.
Get a load of Samson is good. A good title for that one.
Get a load of Simpson. He's carrying.
Get a load of Samson. Okay, so now we're at what? 4 p.m.? Okay. There. This is hard. This is like hard and long and boring, you know? To do all these millions of things. There's so many of them. It's not hard. That's the thing. It's definitely not hard. It's just long and boring, you know? This one.
Yes, I swim, and I'm stuck up. Please don't look at me. I'm stuck up. Please. And I'm stuck up. Yes, I swim, and I'm stuck up. Yes, I swim, and I'm stuck up. And I'm stuck up. Yes, I swim, and I'm stuck up.
Swimmers are stuck up.
Yes, I swim, and I'm stuck.
That's the message of that one. Swimmers are stuck up. Hmm. 5 p.m. Well, I guess there's no point in continuing to stream this incredibly boring activity I'm doing. So I do need to go to bed and get a little sleep before that typing session tomorrow. I guess I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for being here, those of you who stuck around. I'm sorry it was so boring tonight. I was mostly using the stream to make my boring job less boring. So thank you for doing that. And I love you all, and I know that sucked, and I'm sorry I sucked. I'll try to suck less next time.